Welcome back, homies. It's a Reincarnation Coliseum type of day, which means a new issue has just been released for me to talk about. As I dive into chapter 28, it picks up where I left off with Vivien in celebration mode at the tavern before transitioning to the conversation between Zulu and Mikigami. He asks Zulu what she means by Vivien being similar to him. Zulu states that Vivien fights the same way that he does. No skills that stand out, and fights with the items she brings in. Vivien is known to provoke her enemies and leaving the crowd excited during her matches. In the end, she pulls off a comeback victory, which is so similar to Mikigami. Catastrophe even playfully chimes in that Vivien is basically his female counterpart, or perhaps the other way around. Despite the shady looks and increase of matches, he's quite popular in the Coliseum. Mikigami retorts that even so, how did he not know about this person? Zulu responds in honesty that she didn't think they would ever meet based on a record of 18 wins and 10 losses. She got the details from the owner sometime during the day, which leaves Mikigami puzzled. As panels switch over to a hierarchy system based on the Coliseum, Zulu goes over the different categories. The top class are for those considered professional and employed by noblemen such as Zaid. This includes Mary and Marl. Middle class are up and coming slaves owned by Desmos, which can't be sold like Mikigami. Below him are the random slaves that can be bought from Desmos like Vivien. She continues on to say that in order to maintain a certain number of combatants within the Coliseum, management will sometimes buy slaves in bulk to balance it out. In Vivien's case, however, she was a civilian captured in an enemy country by slave hunters. Mikigami is taken aback by management's disregard for human rights by taking others from a different country and throwing them in the Coliseum. Not that he's one to talk, since he's the worst example to be used, since he also disregards human rights. Even though it's a different world, it couldn't be any worse. Mikigami questions why Vivien's owner started winning just now and didn't think to challenge him before. Zulu's response is that because Vivien is weak with no skills, physical abilities, or special abilities, there was nothing that really stood out as a threat. Her owner is quite the merchant though, that understands profit and loss. He's got a good grasp on things and honestly didn't think he would be up against a guy like Mikigami. Marl thinks that this could be a problem, as Alice sarcastically says normally that would be the case before she slams her foot on the table. She declares that as long as you have Alice Cotton with you, there's no way you can lose. Mikigami, Marl, and Mary look on as Alice rants about Vivien being a foolish woman that she's going to tear apart. The more she rants, the more Mikigami sighs before telling her that among the 4 Heavenly Kings, Alice is the weakest. This is when she loses it and grabs Mikigami by the collar, asking what he meant by that comment. Mikigami asks Alice how she would beat Marl. She responds with spatial exchange, obviously, which takes 0.5 seconds to activate. Mikigami asks Marl if she could buff her evasion skill by the same time, and she says that's plenty of time. That means Marl will be able to get behind Alice with enough time and knock her out. Conceding to Marl, she comments she got the edge over Mary. Mikigami now asks Mary if she could activate the backstep ability to avoid the spatial exchange. She responds that she can do it because she knows Alice's skill and is predictable. Without a doubt, it would be easy to avoid. Alice has to focus on a target to hit them, but if an opponent was to zigzag, spatial exchange won't be able to hit them. Conceding to Mary now, her last shot is at Catastrophe, to which she chimes in that she can use a speed buff skill faster than 0.5 seconds so she can avoid it before getting to her. All the Heavenly Kings prove they are capable of beating Alice, much to her dismay, with Mikigami revealing the truth that she was just one-sided bullying to compensate for her own weakness. She falls to her knees in tears, then goes into a full-blown tantrum believing she's the strongest. Others comment on how crazy this is, such as Mikigami and Marl, before Catastrophe teases Marl about her own craziness, leading to her being chased. While Mikigami thinks it over, he stops Alice's tantrum by stating that if she wanted to, she could easily beat Mary and Catastrophe. Maybe even win against Marl if she does what he says. To become the strongest, Alice's eyes widen with envy as she jumps on Mikigami to force it out of him. With her wanting the answer quickly, Mikigami responds that they need to do their best in practice. He also asks Zulu why Vivien decided to out herself publicly when she could have remained anonymous to gain an advantage. Zulu shrugs that she doesn't know anything about her or why she would do anything like that, making Mikigami wonder even more. The panel switched to the Coliseum with a loud crowd and Mikigami looking up at the sky. Alice grits her teeth as Vivien smiles after using a gun to make a lewd smoke art of her. At that point, Alice declares that she's going to kill her for the disrespect. Vivien responds that an ugly girl like her can sure try, with Mikigami being confused as to why she would waste one of the 5 slot items allowed in the Coliseum for that. She continues by hyping up the crowd and mentions Alice's fan club has a lot less people these days. When Alice attempts to grab her, Mikigami notices something as Vivien makes eye contact and goes right past her, surprising them both with such a feat. She leans on Mikigami's shoulder and says that he must be having a hard time too given the situation, whispering in his ear that it's such a pity as Alice attempts to hit her again. Vivien dodges and Mikigami wonders what she meant by that. She clarifies that even if she wins, Mikigami won't be her slave. It will be the brat that's with him. After all, it's you and me who are doing the fighting anyway. At that point, she calls out the Desmos and requests a rule change for their match. Vivien requests the match be changed to an all or nothing where the losing team becomes slaves to the winner. This would shake things up and be less boring for the audience. After thinking it over, the audience agrees and starts chanting Vivien's name until Desmos stands tall to make a decision. Taking up the mic from her secretary, Desmos declares that she only looks forward to a great match. The crowd reacts with chants, but Mikigami realizes that Vivien's owner wanted this match not to defeat one of the Heavenly Kings, but to claim the person who beat them. He also notices that at a glance, Vivien seems like a wild beast, but she's more calculating than she appears. Her way of fighting is definitely going to be tricky and troublesome. While in thought, he notices Alice is losing it still over being treated like an accessory. She goes on to berate Vivien again as chapter 28 closes with Mikigami feeling even more anxious about their match. So we reach the end of the chapter and there's just a bunch of things I want to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is that this isn't a 2v1 situation like I thought it was going to be. Because if you look at one of the panels that shows the arena, there's 4 people in the arena. So it's Vivien, Mikigami, Alice, and somebody else. Somebody's right there. We don't know who she is. I'm hoping it's one of the ones from the cover of Reincarnation Coliseum. I'm hoping it's one of the girls on the cover. If anything, it's gonna be that one on the bottom left. She looks to be the shortest of them all. Of course, across from her is Suzu. So there's that. And then the 2 at the top, I just don't see them being there yet. The next thing is the bet of what Vivien wanted to do, the request. She wanted to be an all or nothing. I find this interesting because Vivien's owner, that merchant, he wants Mikigami. He doesn't want Alice, he wants Mikigami because why would he want the Heavenly King when he can have the person that beat the Heavenly King? That shows that his odds of winning, or profit, I should say, is gonna skyrocket with Mikigami. But Desmos isn't letting that happen. And that's why it was kind of calmed down and just like, let's just get on with the match and see what happens from there. I think the rules may change mid-match and there could be way more if Desmos gets a better offer. So look forward to that if it happens. I think there's going to be more to this match than meets the eye. Another thing about Vivien that I found interesting though is that when Alice tried to grab her, she like did some fucking teleportation move or something, or maybe she's just fast, or it could be an item. I just don't know. But when she was like laying into Alice, that moment Alice tried to grab her, she like made eye contact with Mikigami and like rushed over. I don't know if it was like her running, but based on the illustration when I was looking at it, it made it seem like it was like teleportation or something. And I was like, huh, I wonder if she has like an item or something like that that will do that. Like everything seems to be kind of planned. We just don't know. We just don't know yet. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this match like unravels between them and her nature itself. Cause she got five items she can bring with her. And that's pretty much what she does anyway. She brings items with her. So there's no telling where the fuck she's hiding it at anyway. I mean, she got a jacket on, but it's small as hell. Like where the hell are you gonna be hiding that stuff? I can't wait to see exactly what her 5 items are, or if her gun has things that can do 5 things. You just don't know. But I look forward to seeing her prove herself and why she's the weakest combatant, because that's just like Mikigami. Mikigami thinks on his feet and that's how he gets his wins. So we're gonna see, it's gonna be the battle of the intellect here between those two. Another thing to discuss is the reduced fan base of Alice. You know, I feel bad for her just a little bit because her fan base is down to like 3 people. Like the 3 loyalists that stayed around, it's kind of sad in a way, because it's like, damn, the ones that stayed around were only with you because You know, they thought you were cute and all this stuff. I mean, the 3 loyalists still think she's cute, but her big fan base is like down. They're like gone completely. And it could just be because she's getting banged by a dude now. I don't know. I don't know, but Vivien lays it on thick to her like, yo, you're supposed to be just lesbian lolly, but you're just a ugly little girl with a reduced fan base and everything else. And like, she's just, I know it's hard for her to hear, but man, it's rough. It is rough. So her saying she wants to kill Vivien, you know, it's understandable, but it is what it is. Alice being the weakest of the 4 Heavenly Kings was interesting because I was a firm believer that she was first. I can say that because that spatial exchange skill is deadly. It's damn near instant kill. But apparently, you know, the other Heavenly Kings can counter it. So I'm just like, okay, that just makes you fourth for now until we see the results of, you know, their training. So hopefully she can show and prove why she's actually the strongest, or maybe more. I know if they make it where Mikigami wins, it'll be interesting if they shake things up and, you know, Alice and Mikigami lose, because there's no high stakes in this. It's just, if Mikigami lose, Alice is gone. That's pretty much what it is. It's been made clear, and it's no different from Chris and Alexandros. Same thing. Tag team battle. The one that's owned by Desmos doesn't lose. It's the other one. You get what I'm saying? Alexandros is owned by Desmos, just like Mikigami. So it was pretty determined that Chris was gonna be the slave, just like Marl was gonna be the slave. Alexandros even went on to say, Marl, you're gonna be my slave if I win. So everything kind of like played out, but it's good that it was like, you know, said here, it was more upfront. And by putting the system in place with the 3 levels, it just cleared everything up a little bit. That's all I got regarding the chapter and everything else. I hope you liked it, enjoyed the video, and if so, just like always, support it with comments, likes, and subscribes like you always do. Share it amongst your friends and all that. I can't wait to hear from you all regarding this. I know this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun to talk about in the comments, just like all the other videos. Follow on socials for updates on future projects and more. And I will see you all in the next one. Holla at your boy.